Now, planets have this whole imprint applies to planets, persons, planets, galaxies, universes. This is the core mathematical program of cosmic structure, and it creates very literal, tangible things, which are coordinate points mathematically that operate as stargates or energy pass-through points between the areas. These are called collectively the ECKA maps of the God World Gates. It tells you not only how to ascend to the next density. See, it's really funny. A lot of the ascension teachings are out there. If you don't realize what ascension is, all right, the big picture, anybody can tell you anything's ascension. Oh yeah, you say these holy names 5 times and you do it. Well, what is it? You disappear from here. Yeah, where do I go? With God. What God is that? You know, they don't answer those little questions off to the side. What most of them are teaching you to do is to get to the next density level, density 2, in reverse, which will put you in around the D5 frequency bands in the black hole system. They're not teaching you that, and most of the teachers down here don't know that either, because who they're channeling and listening to aren't telling them, because they're hiding some stuff. So you don't blame the teachers here that are teaching it. They're teaching what they're being taught. What they're not doing is checking out the resume of who's teaching them. Just because it's interdimensional, they think it means because it's higher, it's better. Because it's not here, that means it knows more than I do, and it has good intentions. So the teachers mostly here that have gotten involved with teaching twisted ascension teachings, most of them aren't doing it out of malice or out of consciously wanting to serve a negative agenda. Most honestly think that that is the highest level of teaching. When they see this stuff, that's when one of 3 things will happen. The first one I've never seen yet. Or one will say, oh my God, that's it. Oh, I can feel it. Oh wow, they were tricking me, weren't they? Oh, all right. You know, I want to learn this stuff, and they try to connect with guardians. No, I've not seen that reaction yet. 2 things. One is they go into total ego mode. They start spreading rumors about me, or about the guardians, or about us, just to make sure nobody reads the stuff, while they're buying our product. There's some of the best, like repeat customers on our product list. People who want to buy these programs are people that are actually teaching what are counter programs to this, because they want to know what we know, because they don't have this stuff, and they want to see how far, what they have to combat. Because what they will do is we'll say, well, it's actually this way. They were teaching that there are only 7 dimensions, 7 chakras. All of a sudden, they better start teaching there's 12. Okay, you know, right? Because they have to figure out how to top what we said in order to still make sense. Because once in a while, they'll get a student that asks in the middle of class, yeah, well, what about this? I heard this. You're teaching me this, but I heard that it was this way. And if they can't intellectualize at a higher level than the level of detail we've been giving, they get in trouble. They get spotted. And they either have to reject the student completely or cover themselves. So the other reaction is usually, and it's the one that usually happens, is at the point where they trip over the fact that this exists, the shadow dancer is usually so much into the body snatch already, so much in the body that there's very little of the original person there in the first place, and the shadow dancer takes over. And it will either choose direct combat, where, you know, like slander campaigns or stuff, or avoid us as much as possible. Or sometimes pretend they agree, just to stay out of it with us. So there's those people, they are accountable. They are accountable for what they're doing because they're doing it consciously. The people who are teaching that are really being run by the shadow dancers, you can see it in the eyes, if you look in the eyes. And if you have the knowledge of shadow dancers, and you look in the eye of someone who you think might have one, and you hold that gaze just with telepathically the thought, of course you have your flame body and heart seal stuff activated, right? So they don't zap you. And you just hold it and know. And just hold the thought, I see you. How does that make you feel? If they can hold it, first they'll hold the gaze and they'll try to overpower you, where you get scared and you drop your eyes. That's what they want. If you just hold it with no judgment, you know, I'm not hating you. I don't say, oh, there's one burned at the stake. You know, not like that, because you're not coming from that place. I send you love, but I recognize who I'm seeing. Most of them will divert the eyes. Most of them will shift away, because being identified is one of the things that terrify the most. Because once they're identified, you know how to do a flame body, they can't harm you, which means they're powerless. They will be angry at you inside because you make them feel powerless. Why? Because they're choosing a path that is rendering them powerless, and they're trying to take their power from outside of themselves, stealing it from other people, So they get mad at the people who won't let their power be stolen. That's their problem. It's not yours. But it's a little trick you can do for identifying. If you can hold the thought, sometimes I'll meet people and I'll say, all right, who's in there? The good or the bad or the ugly. I don't care what you are. I love you anyway. But, how I might interact with you and how much I might trust you to have the same agenda of healing that I do will depend on what I see. If you look at them in the eyes with the love, but the knowing as well, and say, I would like your avatar level to reveal to me. Now, all of them, even if they fell, have originally an avatar that didn't, a part of themselves in the Christos. That is still true. It will do something in frequency to let you see, if you ask telepathically, its level. And if the shadow dancer is in there, that's when you can feel the, but I did it. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's a little game you can play for recognition purposes. And the idea isn't to go around spotting them. We're not like, plane spotters, butterfly spotters, bird spotters, and, we select spotters. There's going to be so many after May 27th, it's not going to be worth trying. All right, I forget the numbers, I'll know it by the time we're talking about that subject matter. It's in that file over there. But I think it was 20 million. Yeah, 20 million are going for full body snatch of people that are already fully Metatronic on the 27th. That's just the first wave of them. So these are the guys that are going to be at the administrative levels, from the little tiniest, you'll find them in dishwashers, you'll find them in the priest caste, you'll find them in presidencies, but they are meant to move forward the World War III agenda. So the two sides can fight it out here to decide who's going to get what part of the things that are going to fall. So it helps to know. There'll be a time when you won't even have to look in the eyes. You'll walk by it. You'll know the frequency. And you just send it love and leave it alone. Don't try to fix it. You can't fix it. It can fix itself, maybe. When it gets to that point, it doesn't want to fix itself. No matter how much you'd like it to, let it be. Even if it's your mother, even if it's your child, even if it's your cat. That's what's frightening with some of these changes. Because there are going to be people right now that have been together, they're close on a 3D level, we try to love each other, try to be kind with each other, care about each other. You may know people who have been, have 31% minus. That means they will undergo body snatch fully. They're already partially body snatched. One of the signs is real polarity, where they can be the sweetest, nicest person, like two different people. Do you ever have that where you just, the great friend of mine, or spouse or child, boy, there's this other side that comes out and you just like duck, duck and run, because sometimes they'll be violent, or sometimes they'll be nasty, and just like a whole different personality shift, but then it'll shift back to the nice one. Very often what you're seeing is the shadow dancer and the regular person who's in there. When you have the instance of less than 31% divine blueprint left, after May 27th, 2003, the dancers are going to progressively move in to take the bodies. That's why the part that's still the good part is going to host out. It's as if they're actually dying and going on to their next life, but the body won't die. The other person that was there as a latent comes out sometimes will be more and more there, but it will try to adopt the veneer of the nice one. So it will be very hard at first to tell. And sometimes some of the hardest things to face in these type of transitions on this planet is when somebody you thought you knew was actually two people. And the one that you didn't know well and wouldn't like if you did happens to be the one that got the body. This is where you need freedom from being totally lost in the illusion. Are you in love with the body? Do you love the body? Or is it the person you love? Because the person may have left the body and you can now talk with them easier. You may be able to establish communication with them and help them as if they had transitioned. But if you're attached to identifying them as the body, and if you're attached to identifying yourself as the body, you will not be able to do this for other people either. You will cause yourself a lot of pain when you see people's bodies. It's like people are changing clothes right now, and you're hanging on to the clothes and losing track of the person. This is going to be a challenge. I think we'll talk more about it probably in Dance for Joy. But these are some of the things. Anyway, this was a tangent, by the way.